Welcome. Oh, I'm so happy that my husband and I, Art Shegonee, and I'm Dawn, are here again for the Eagle Watch season that's happening this year because of doing things just a little bit differently. So today we're going to be having, again, showing our film, which is the 1854 Orientation by Chief Seattle, which is just a wonderful piece of history, and also the Eagle Huntress film that is just wonderful, showing the absolute beauty of the golden eagle. Welcome and
Good afternoon. My name is Art Shegonee. I'm a member of the Menominee and Potawatomi Nations of Wisconsin, and welcome to my country, and enjoy the film.
How can you buy the sky? How can you own the rain and the wind? My mother told me, every part of this earth is sacred to our people. Every pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods, every meadow and humming insect are all holy and the memory of our people. My father said to me, I know the sap that courses through the trees, as I know the blood that flows in my veins. We are part of the earth, and it is part of us. The perfumed flowers are our sisters. The bear, the deer, the great eagle, these are our brothers. The voice of my ancestors said to me, the shining water that moves in the streams and rivers is not simply water, but the blood of your grandfather's grandfather. Each ghostly reflection in the clear waters of the lakes tells us memories in the life of our people. The waters murmur in the voice of your great-great-grandmother. The rivers are our brothers. They quench our thirst. You must give to the rivers the kindness you would give to any brother. The voice of my grandfather said to me, the air is precious. It shares its spirits with all the life it supports. The wind that gave me my first breath also received my last sigh. Will there be any spirit of my people left? My ancestors said to me, the earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. The voice of my grandmother said to me, teach your children what you have been taught. What befalls the earth befalls all the sons and daughters of the earth. Hear my voice and the voice of my ancestors. The destiny of your people is a mystery to us. When the view of the ripe hills is blotted by talking wires, where will the thicket be? Gone? Where will the eagle be? Gone. This we know. All things are connected like the blood that unites us. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. If we sell you our land, care for it as we have cared for it. Hold in your mind the memory of the land as it is when you receive it. Preserve the land and the air and the rivers of your children's children, and love it as we have loved it.
For over 1,000 years, the nomads of the Altai Mountains have hunted with golden eagles, a precious skill that has traditionally been handed down from father to son. But now a young girl is setting out to become a master eagle hunter. Meet Ashulpan. She's 13 years old. She's strong. She's brave. And she's a total natural. But when the competition ends, the real test begins.
Bonjour, my name is Dawn Shegonee. I'm a member of the Menominee and Potawatomi Nations. My Indian name is Kanesa. And today we're here at Eagle Watch Days, and it's going for several days. And we're very honored to be here. And what I'm holding in my hand is a golden eagle fan. And Native American people, we're the only ones that are allowed to possess and carry eagle feathers. But people often ask me, how do you get your eagles? And we have to, we do not shoot or kill eagles. We get the eagles through the DNR. There's a method of how we get them. And people often think that we shoot or kill eagles, which is not true. And that's a myth. And what happens sometimes is because the eagles are so big and huge, and they're scavengers. They're just like any other bird. They will pick carcasses, like a deer carcass off the side of the road, and the eagle will be on top of it, eating and pecking away. And sometimes what happens is the eagle tries to pick up part of the meat or even the fish going hunting because they pick that fish or part of that deer up, and they can't carry it because, and then as they're in flight, they can't pick it up. And so going across the road, oftentimes that's how they get hit or killed on the road. Or sometimes they fly into the guide wires because they weren't there before, I mean, they don't know about the guide wires because, they're so in the nature, they're flying all over in the trees and stuff, so they're not aware of all these power wires and stuff, so they can't see that. And so oftentimes they'll hit those power wires and hurt and injure their wings or get killed that way. And so sometimes the ones that do survive, what happens is they capture them and they take them to a sanctuary. Here in Wisconsin, we have a sanctuary up north, and a woman takes care of them with a team, and they rehabilitate the eagle, and then that's when they come down to Sauk City and different areas to release the eagles. And it's a very humbling and very, for myself, a very spiritual thing that to watch that, to bless them, to watch them, to as they have been rehabilitated, to take off and go fly back into nature. And it's for myself, it's a very humbling experience to watch these magnificent birds and stuff. And one of the things I wanted to also add is that veterans get eagle feathers from their nation or their tribe. And that's one of the highest honors that that a Native American person can receive from their nation or from a person. And so we cherish these eagle feathers, and we have to have a permit to carry these eagle feathers from the DNR and stuff like that. So a lot of times when you see a lot of Native American people at powwows, thinking, how are they getting all these eagle feathers? Well, they have a permit that they get, and they don't kill them, but they have a eagle suppository that they have all these feathers at, and we have to order them through application. And it takes anywhere from a year to 4 years to get a bald eagle or a golden eagle. It takes a lot more longer time to get that. So anyways, also I talk about this medicine wheel. It's a metaphor that we use. All the colors here, the yellow, the black, the white, and the red, as people that we live on this Mother Earth together, and on this Mother Earth, and so that we get along, and there's no dissension between any of us. And so it's just a representation of us getting along and being peace, balance, and harmony on this medicine wheel. And many Native Americans will have the medicine wheel in different colors or different north, south, east, and west, whatever direction that they're from, as a representation.
The Ashbing Abamazing means a new people will emerge. And it means that when the water turns to poison and you can no longer eat the fish, a new people will emerge, and to try to come together, as Art mentioned with that medicine wheel, that we all have to come together in order to protect our earth, as you saw the importance of that in the film by Chief Seattle. Also, for the eagle and Native culture, Art, you might want to share what the eagle means to Native peoples.
And one of the things too is that we as Native American believe is that we have all these items here: the shaker, the eagle feather, the sweetgrass, the sage, and the cedar, and the tobacco. As Native American people, when we pray outside with a fire, or we have a pipe, pawagan, and that smoke, as we pray with that tobacco in the fire, and that fire the smoke goes up into the heavens, up in the Ishpeming. The eagle flies around. They gather that smoke upon their wings, and they fly. If you've ever watched an eagle fly, they go in a circle, a clockwise circle, and as they're going around and around, you can watch that bird go as high as it can until it disappears. And so we believe that when we're praying and those eagles see that, they gather that smoke upon their wings and they take it up into Ishpeming, up into the heavens, and touch the Creator's face with our prayers. And that's why we believe that we have a direct connection to Mama Konono, or the Great Spirit, or God, as we would say. It said that when our elders tell us that when we see an eagle flying around, that we are to put tobacco on the ground and to pray at that time, because the eagle will carry those prayers up to Ishpeming. And so, and we have good feelings when we see those eagles fly around like that, that those are our messengers to the Creator. And a lot of times too, that tobacco derives from Mother Earth, and so we use that tobacco in a very sacred manner. And we used to get it in big leaves, and it said that that special tobacco that we get, we carry that tobacco for 1 year. And for 1 year, if we can use that tobacco and prayers and stuff like that, we use it at a home, at my house too. So anytime that people need prayers, I'll take that tobacco out by a sacred tree, and I'll pray for other people that have problems or whatever they need at that time. And that's what we're told to do and how we're taught. And I enjoy talking and telling people about the way things are done as a Native American person, because people think, well, how do you live as a city Indian, and so we still carry these traditions even on, we're not even on the reservation. We're taught these things anyways, just like people are taught their ways in church and stuff. So we practice these sacred traditions. So all these things that we use, and we still use these things today in our pipes. And one of the stereotypes that's often used is people ask me, so what do you Indian people smoke in those pipes? And I said, well, they think that we use some other stuff in there, but we don't. It's always herbs and tobacco. That's all that's ever been used in the pipes. There's no pot or anything else that goes into those. It's very spiritual stuff that we do with those pipes and stuff. There's never ever been any other drugs or anything in those pipes, because that's not what's not to be used for that. So it's a myth that people often say, so I want to break that myth.
He was talking about the pipe. When the pipe had tobacco in the pipe, and the tobacco is sacred because it comes from the earth. And when the tobacco was put in the peace pipes that we talk about, the tobacco wasn't necessarily to be inhaled. It was to produce that smoke from the pipe that then carries those prayers in that peace pipe circle, that those prayers are then carried to the eagle, and the eagle carries those prayers to the Creator.
We're very honored to have these eagle feathers and carry them with great honor. And in actuality, when you go to a powwow, you see the eagle staffs that the veterans carry, and those eagle staffs are representing, we have 11 different tribes, so each tribe or each nation has their own eagle staff that they carry into the powwow for their veterans. It's a very high honor that they have to carry. And a lot of those veterans have been, combat veterans have been shot and wounded, and they come back and they tell a story. And so at a powwow, What happens if there's an eagle feather that drops on the ground, we believe that that is a fallen warrior or a veteran. So 4 combat veterans, male or female, have to go out. One veteran has to go pick that feather up, and there's a certain dance or certain ceremony that's done at that time. And then they ask at the powwow at that time when that feather drops that there's no cameras to be turned on. They turn all the cameras off, and we only see that presentation done with your eyes and not the cameras. And so out of respect for that fallen warrior, and so one veteran will pick that up, and then there's a special song that is sung for that eagle feather and for that veteran that picks that up. And then at that time when that feather is picked up, the veteran that picks it up, he or she has the opportunity to talk about their life in the being in the combat war, in the combat, how they got shot or what happened to them. And that was one of the things that our elders always told us, that we were to make sure that we didn't drop our eagle feathers on the ground. We didn't want to have those elders or those veterans talk about what happened to them in the war or what happened to them. And so, but it happens sometimes at the powwows that eagle feather does drop, and so a certain ceremony has to be done for that, and so it's a good thing to learn. It's a good thing to know about, because how valuable our veterans are today, and why we have such a high respect for them as on the reservations. And when a veteran comes home, the nation or the tribe will give them an eagle feather, and a certain ceremony will be done for them to bring them back home and to say thank you for your service in the war, for fighting for our country. And we've had probably more men and women, Native Americans, in service than any other nation that fought for this country and died. And so that's why it's very, when you come to see the Eagle Watching Days, it's very special. There's a lot more into it than just watching the eagle and how those feathers are taken care of. And we're I'm very grateful to Marge and her family and friends that take care of these eagles and bring them back healthy and stuff, so that we can watch them fly around, and it's a blessing for us. And thank you to the Eagle Watching Days for coming to here.
Yes, thank you. I just share a little information on the history of Art's life and service to the community, and some of the things that he has done that we highlight here on the board, which is the fact that Art performed. He's a traditional dancer, and he performed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at a big week-long event that honored Johnny Cash, and the song that he danced to, of the song of Johnny Cash, was called Ira Hayes. Ira Hayes was one of the soldiers that in Hiroshima, when you see that picture where they're putting the American flag into the ground, there's about 5 men in that picture, and Ira Hayes is one of those. He was a Pima Indian, and so Art at this event for honoring Johnny Cash, he picked up the American flag and did an honor 2-step that they do at powwows across the stage with the American flag, with his traditional regalia, which is in this exhibit. And there was probably about 2,000 people in the audience, and it was just pretty amazing. They just kind of held their breath when they saw somebody in full regalia carrying that American flag to that song, well-known song by Johnny Cash. And yeah, Bill Miller is a Native American 3-time Grammy Award winner, so he also did the song of Ira Hayes. Bill Miller is like Art's brother. He today is very close to John Carter Cash, Johnny Cash's son, and so that's how it came about. It was a huge honor for Art to be able, in all his years of doing traditional dance, not only with Call for Peace around the world, but also for many conferences and colleges, that he was honored to be able to do this dance at that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's a highlight in his life. The other thing that I have on the board that shows, actually Johnny Cash went to Wounded Knee back in 1967, I think, to meet some of the relatives that had ancestors in Wounded Knee. I don't know if people realize that Johnny Cash had acknowledged what had happened at Wounded Knee. The other thing that we share in the exhibit is what we call a reparative history. And so we've highlighted that in the exhibit in Ireland in 1847, during the potato famine, the Choctaw Indians sent to the Irish to help feed people in terms of what was happening during the potato famine. In Ireland, they did a sculpture called Sacred Feathers, and it's in the exhibit, and it's feathers that are shaped like in a bowl that they erected in, I think it was 2017, and it's a beautiful sculpture and the Choctaw came to visit at that time. So the sculpture is also in this exhibit that they did to honor Native peoples for helping them during that potato famine. At the same time, it wasn't until the trial of Standing Bear that Native American people were actually considered human beings. So here back in 1847, Native Americans were doing humanitarian efforts to people in another country. And then the other piece that we try to highlight in this is the fact that the 100th Congress finally acknowledged the contributions by the Iroquois Confederacy. They finally acknowledged their contribution to the writing of our Constitution. So those are just few of the highlights